Welcome. Thank you for joining us for the 85th annual meeting for Railroad and Industrial Federal Credit Union. My name is Pete Georgiani. I'm the president and CEO. While this is not the preferred way to hold this annual meeting, I'm grateful the technology exists. A handful of us here in the office today, well, we are social distancing. Now, before we move on to an accounting of what the credit union accomplished last year, I feel it's necessary to briefly report on the current state of our operation. On April 1st, Governor DeSantis issued a stay-at-home order due to COVID-19. And being that our industry is deemed essential, we continue to operate through our drive-thrus and robust technology platforms. This temporary way of doing business was to ensure the health and well-being of both our members, and our staff, and it has served us well. On May 11th, we resumed modified normal operations. Our sincere thanks go out to our nearly 40,000 members. We appreciate your courtesy and your patience as we maneuvered these uncharted waters. I would also like to recognize the staff for a job well done. Many worked from home. Others were part of teams that worked 3 days in the office and then 3 days at home, all to help prevent any possible cross-contamination. And although we're meeting virtually, it means a lot to have you here with us. It's this type of engagement that the board and the staff work very, very hard to achieve. Now, with that said, I'd like to share a couple of virtual housekeeping items that'll enable you to participate in this meeting. Participants have all been muted upon entry to the meeting to limit noise interference. You may ask a question or make a comment selecting the chat icon on the bottom of the screen. We will respond to all questions and comments within the next couple of days. You may change your view by selecting the screen icon in the upper right-hand corner of your screen. And finally, the full annual report may be found at rafcu.org. Next, I'm going to ask our Vice President of Operations, Ms. Anna Lampinen, to give the invocation.
If you'll bow your heads. Father, we just thank you for this day. We thank you for the Railroad and Industrial Federal Credit Union and the many years. We thank you for the good year we had in 2019 and for the favor and the blessings over not just the Railroad Credit Union, but all the companies, the SEG groups, and the members that represent our organization. Father, as we go into this year, the 2020 annual meeting, we ask for your favor and your continued blessing over our company and our company groups. And we ask for health for our nation and our country and our community as we recover from this season of COVID-19. And we ask all of this in Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you, Anna. Now, before we move on, I'd like to ask for a moment of silence for those members we lost in 2019. Okay, next, it'll be my pleasure to introduce our board chairman, Mr. Jay Brown, who will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you, Pete. I'll now lead our group in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Right now, I will introduce our Railroad and Industrial Federal Credit Union Board of Directors. Myself, Jay Brown, I'm chairman of the board. Bob Dexter, board member and vice chairman. Tim McCorkle, board member and treasurer. Josh Baldwin, board member and secretary. Michelle Hausman, board member and assistant secretary. Board member Jerry Harburg. Board member Lisa Carrier. Next, I'll introduce our Supervisory Committee. Supervisory Committee member and chair, Rosemary Myers. Supervisory Committee member and, Supervisory Committee member Bill Perkins. Supervisory Committee member Rafael Molina. Supervisory Committee member Brad Cochran. Supervisory Committee member Kelly Escona. At this time, I would like to ask Rich Subert, Assistant Vice President of Operations, to introduce our youth board.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Our Youth Advisory Board is a volunteer committee of Railroad and Industrial Federal Credit Union members ages 16 to 25 years old. We meet 4 times during the school year, and our meetings are held here at the main office from 4 to 6 p.m. Some of the topics that we discuss are the differences between credit unions and banks, ways of establishing and maintaining credit, what to know when purchasing a car, fraud, and during one of the meetings, they get to meet and greet the board of directors and the CEO. The members of the Youth Advisory Board are Maya, Kaylee, Andrew, Aspen, and Hunter. We are accepting applications for the Youth Advisory Board for the fall of 2020 and 2021. You can apply online at riscu.org. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Rich. Next, I would like to recognize board member Lisa Carrier and Supervisory Committee Chair Rosemary Myers for 5 years of dedicated service. We appreciate it. At this time, we welcome members and guests and call the 85th annual meeting, Railroad and Industrial Federal Credit Union. The meeting will be governed by Robert's Rules of Order, newly revised. Mr. Secretary, do we have a quorum?
Mr. Chair, we have a quorum present.
As a first order of business, I'm asking for the adoption of the agenda as proposed in your annual report. The annual report can be seen on the screen and on our website. The chair will entertain a motion to adopt the annual agenda.
And I move to adopt the annual agenda.
We have a motion to adopt the annual agenda. Do we have a second?
Mr. Chair, Tim McCorkle speaking. I will make a second motion to accept and adopt the agenda.
It has been motioned and properly seconded to adopt the agenda. All in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Aye.
There being no objection, motion carries. At this time, if there's no objection, the chair will appoint a committee to approve the minutes of this meeting. There being no objections, the committee will consist of Kyle Lowe, Anna Lampinen, and Jose Ramos. Last year's committee consisted of Arthur Wood, Clayton Bradley, and Anna Lampinen. Mr. Secretary, do we have a report from that committee?
Mr. Chair, we have a report from the committee approving the minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. We will now have the board and committee reports. You'll find the chairman's report printed in the annual meeting report on page 3, which I would appreciate and encourage you to read. At this time, I would like to reintroduce our president, Pete Giorgiani, and Pete will present the president's report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You'll find my report on page 4 in the annual meeting packet. I would, however, like to make just a few comments. Our commitment to remain a SEG or select employee-based credit union, as opposed to being community chartered, has still not changed. And in fact, in 2019, we brought 81 new companies into our field of membership. Thanks to the hard work of our staff, we were again able to grow new members at record levels. For 2019, when compared to other local credit unions, we paid some of the highest dividend rates on the most popular deposit products. We expanded our call center. We completed the remodel of our North Lakeland branch, and we added value-packed products and services to better serve you. While we continue to develop our online delivery channels, we are committed to keeping live tellers that will work with you one-to-one whenever you visit any of our 9 branch offices. And we continue to survey you via focus groups, social media, membership matters, and paper surveys to be certain we're always working towards improving your financial lives. And lastly, I would like to thank the board, the committee members, and the staff for their hard work throughout 2019. Thank you.
At this time, we'll call on our Vice President of Lending, Sammy Schomer, to deliver his report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you all the members of our board and supervisory committee. And also welcome to our members that have joined us for our virtual meeting. I would also like to thank all the employees that made or helped to make this 2019 calendar year a great year for our lending department. You can find all the details of the lending report on page 6. I also encourage you or ask that you encourage your family members and coworkers to turn to us when they have financial needs. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Schomer. At this time, we will call on Ms. Rosemary Myers, Chair of the Supervisory Committee, to present the report for that committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is Rosemary Myers. Thank you, members of the Board of Directors and shareholders attending this meeting. The report of the Supervisory Committee can be found on page 7 of the annual meeting report. The Supervisory Committee meets at least monthly as a committee and monthly also with the Board of Directors to make recommendations concerning internal controls and other areas of the operations that we are asked to be involved in. Thank you.
Thank you, Rosemary. Mr. Secretary, do we have any unfinished business at this time?
Mr. Chair, we have no unfinished business.
Thank you. There being no unfinished business, we will move on to new business other than elections. Do we have any new business to come before this meeting other than elections? There is no other new business. Bylaws of this credit union give all members 18 years of age or older who desire a chance to run for the board of directors an opportunity to do so. Proper notice was given to announce the nominations of the nominating committee. The committee consists of Lisa Carrier as chair, Gerald Harburg, and Tim J. McCorkle. At this time, Lisa Carrier, chair of the nominating committee, will make that report.
Good evening, everyone. This is Lisa Carrier. Nominating committee. For the first, consisting of myself, Lisa Carrier as the chair, Gerald S. Harburg, and Timothy J. McCorkle have met and placed into nomination for 3-year terms on the board of directors, Robert H. Dexter, and Josh Baldwin.
Thank you, Ms. Carey. I would like to thank you and the remainder of the committee for all your work. There can be no nominations from the floor according to Article 6, Section 6 of the bylaws since someone has been nominated for each position. There were no petitions filed to run for the board of directors. Therefore, I will ask the secretary to cast an elective ballot for Robert H. Dexter and Josh Baldwin for 3-year terms on the board of directors.
Mr. Chair, I hereby cast an elected ballot for Robert H. Dexter and Josh Baldwin for 3-year terms on the board of directors.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Given that, I would like to announce that Robert H. Dexter and Josh Baldwin are elected to the board of directors of this credit union for 3-year terms. I would also like to announce that there will be a reorganizational meeting of the board of directors later tonight after the regular board meeting. Is there any further business to come before the meeting at this time? There being no further business, Chair will entertain a motion to adjourn the 85th annual meeting of the Railroad and Industrial Federal Credit Union.
I, Gerald Harburg, move that the 85th annual meeting of the Railroad and Industrial Federal Credit Union be adjourned.
We have a motion for adjournment. Is there a second?
I, Michelle Hausman, will second the motion.
It's been moved and properly seconded for adjournment. All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
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 Opposed? There being no opposition, the motion carries. I declare this 85th annual meeting of the Railroad and Industrial Federal Credit Union as duly adjourned. And we would like everyone to stay with us as we will be drawing door prizes, and like to introduce our Vice President of Marketing at this time, Jessica Stevenson.
I'd like to reiterate how much we appreciate you all attending our 2020 virtual annual meeting. So we'd like to give away some prizes. We've randomly selected 6 participants to receive a $25 Visa gift card. If you are selected, we will mail your prize, so be on the lookout. So our first winner is Jarius Reed. Our second winner is Kurt. Our third winner is Rebecca Pouliot. Our fourth winner is Mervyn Cedre. Our fifth winner is Cindy Brown. And our final winner is Katie Martino. Thank you again for attending the 2020 virtual annual meeting.